Hussain Assalamu alaikum and peace be on you. I welcome you to the third episode of ARBAEEN reflection called the Hussaini Kiwis. In these programs, we have been bringing a range of guests along with their experience of their visitation to the holy land of Karbala. In the first episode, we mainly talked about the essence of servitude from those who host or serve at the ARBAEEN walk. Second episode, we had a set of young ladies talking about how Imam Hussain is so eternal and the lessons taught by him are still applicable today. Some may ask, why do we give so much importance to Imam Hussain? Imam Hussain alayhi salam is one of the most precious and revered figures in Islam. It is his martyrdom that ensured the continuation of Islam until today. It was his stand against the tyrants of the time and the injustice which saved the message of Islam, which was originally brought by his grandfather, Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, said, "Verily, Hussain is the shining light of guidance and the ark of salvation." He also said, "Hussain is from me and I am from Hussain," meaning the love of Prophet Muhammad and love for Imam Hussain can never be separated. The event of ARBAEEN is held in Iraq, where the shrine of Imam Hussain is located. And the event itself is attended by 30 to 40 million people from around the globe every year. These visitors are mostly Shia, but not limited, as many other groups of people from Ahl Sunnah and some non-Muslims also come to pay tribute to the grandson of Prophet Muhammad. Basically, whoever holds love and respect for our Prophet Muhammad and his household in their hearts come to Karbala at the event of ARBAEEN. The 40th or ARBAEEN marks an important turning point in the movement of Karbala. This day, which is no less important to the day of Ashura, is important for many reasons. The prime being that the Ahlul Bayt alayhi salam reached the land of Karbala on this day and performed the visitation to Sayyidul Shuhada, Imam Hussain alayhi salam, and the loyal family and friends who gave their life for the cause of Islam. Before I introduce my guests tonight, I would like to also take the opportunity to share a tradition from the Holy Household about the importance of ziyarah of Imam Hussain, which was shared with me by our scholar, Sayyid Muhammad al-Mudarrisi, and I thought it would be valuable for our viewers, inshallah. So Imam Sadiq alayhi salam said, "The Almighty Allah records 1,000 good deeds and erases 1,000 sins for every step taken by one who performs the ziyarah of Imam Hussain alayhi salam. He will also increase their status 1,000 times for every step taken." So mashallah, these traditions we find in abundance, and it tells us the status of those who have made a movement towards Imam Hussain and paid a visitation to his holy shrine. Alhamdulillah, we are so blessed to have presence of a very passionate and very dedicated group who call themselves the Hussaini Kiwis and made intention to travel to Karbala from New Zealand on a yearly basis. We have few members of Hussaini Kiwis with us in the program tonight who will discuss what motivated them to take such an initiative and what is their experience so far. So today on the list of my guests are, first of all, we have Brother Ali Mehboob Jatowi, who's a member of the Kiwi Hussaini group and originally from Pakistan. He's a digital professional living and working in New Zealand since last 11 years. He paid a visit to the Holy Land of Karbala and performed the walk from Najaf to Karbala in 2018. My second guest is Brother Sajjad Raza, who is originally from Pakistan and one of the organizers of Hussaini groups too. He's an IT systems engineer by profession and lives in New Zealand since 2014. He was blessed with the ziyarah and he was given the ability to do the ARBAEEN walk in 2018. My third guest is Brother Altamash Askari, who is originally from India, also part of the Hussaini Kiwi group, and was blessed to go for ARBAEEN ziyarah in 2018 and 2019. He's a software professional and settled in New Zealand since 2007. My fourth guest is Brother Abul Hassan Lakhani, who comes from Pakistan and moved to New Zealand back in 2011. He went for the ARBAEEN walk and ziyarah of Imam Hussain in 2018 and 2019. He is also a software professional and also a Zakir Imam Hussain reciting Nauhas and Latimiyah. Last but not least, we have Alian Abbas, who is 15 years and attends Year 11 at a secondary college. He thinks he is a half member of Hussaini Kiwis as he went to Iraq last time with another Canadian group, but joined Hussaini Kiwis during the walk. He has been lucky enough to go for ziyarah 3 times so far, once in 2014 for Arafah, then 2016 and 2018 for ARBAEEN. I welcome you all and appreciate your time to participate in this special episode of ARBAEEN Reflections. So inshallah, we will begin our discussion about the spiritual experience of the walk itself that mashallah, you all have been blessed to have performed in 2018 or 2019. So I would like to first start with yourself, Brother Jatowi. So Brother Jatowi, we have been living, we have been having a really interesting discussion in the programs last 2 nights about this notion how Imam Hussein's love is never diminishing. And it is a heat which always keeps the heart of Mu'mineen illuminated. The visitors or the servants are always ready to sacrifice their everything for Imam Hussain. So the question I want to ask you is, What makes Imam Hussein so eternal that he's still remembered after 1400 years?
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum, brothers and sisters. First of all, I would like to congratulate iPhone's Team ARBAEEN Reflections, Sister Masuma, for arranging this beautiful series to share the Zawar's experience with wider community, which is really, really amazing and beautiful. So I watched 2 episodes and I can see that what the love of the Zawars is reflecting from their words and from their eyes, which is beautiful. So now coming back to your question, sister, that why Imam Hussein is still remembered after 1400 years. I would say it's because of Imam Hussein's great sacrifices through which he taught us a great lesson. Like it's a lesson not only for Muslims, but for every human on earth. The lesson is that never support injustice, oppression, and no matter what kind of conditions you are in, what type of powerful the oppressor is, and what incentives they might give you, or sometimes you might get a threat, but you have to support the oppressor, not the falsehood, not the oppressor and tyrants. So this was something I believe, and I see that it is message, like a universal message for humanity, and not only Muslims, but every person who has got a heart will always remember Imam Hussein alayhi salam. And Imam Hussein alayhi salam, in other words, I would say that because we human are the creations by God, and God loves those who help humans and who help themselves and who help the other people. And I believe that the other factor is that Imam Hussein alayhi salam raised the voice for Allah. And Allah promised that in Quran, that Fazkuruni Azkurukum. If you therefore remember me, I will remember you. So one of the things that are like a true picture or reflection, which Imam Hussein did for Allah in a way that saved Islam. Not only that, but he gave a path to people to stood against the oppressors. So no wonder Imam Hussein raised the voice for Allah and protected the message of Allah. So Allah made the name of Imam Hussein to be remembered forever. Like 1400 years, just a tiny years for Allah. I mean, this word has to go on, and then since the beginning of the time, and then we don't know when this will end. But I believe that the name of Imam Hussein will be remembered forever. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Brother Chitui, for sharing these ideas really eloquently. And I can see how few of the other guests who were with us in the last 2 nights, they said quite similar things as you said, and but everyone has a different way of expressing their love for Imam Hussein. So mashallah, thank you so much. And now I would like to move on to Brother Sajjad. So Brother Sajjad, I have witnessed, mashallah, a great amount of passion and brotherhood within your group, mashallah, and especially because I was privileged to be with your group for a while during the ARBAEEN walk. So my question to you is, how was the idea of this Hussaini Kiwi group started, and what is the meaning behind the name and the logo? Because I could witness that, like, mashallah, you have got quite a bit of things that you guys have printed, and when you were walking from Najaf to Karbala, you were trying to carry that identity with you. So how did that all come together?
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. I would like to thank you and Brother Ali Azim for inviting me in such a spiritual gathering, discussing the reflections of ARBAEEN. So I would like to explain a bit in detail related to your question. So when I was 5 years old, I remember our first summer vacation trip was visiting shrine of Imam Rizal alayhi salam in Mashhad. And then every year during school holidays, my parents used to plan a family trip for a month to Iran. As for us, this was the best vacation we could ever had. And also back in the days, Iraq was not that easy to visit. So I've been to Iran for more than 15 times, and I always had that spiritual connection, which you gain when you visit the holy shrines. So to visit Iraq was always my dream, but I never got the opportunity. And then I migrated to NZ in 2014. Since then, I was really missing that spiritual connection and always wanted to plan a trip and to participate in that ARBAEEN walk, as it is one of the sign of a believer to visit Imam Hussain alayhi salam during ARBAEEN. I was really lucky to have such friends here in Auckland who are also keen to visit and plan for this trip. So we started our discussion back in June 2018. And I remember at that time, my daughter was just 3 months old. I gave a call to my mom asking that if I can go to this trip. And my mom told me that once you plan for this Jara trip, you don't have to worry about anything, as the Imam will take care rest of your matters. So we started discussing and form a proper group to follow Iraqi visa policy. We then thought of a name and a proper logo which we can use on that flag. We thought of printing T-shirts and identity cards as well, so we can proper walk during that ARBAEEN. We thought of different names and ended up finalizing Hussaini Kiwis. And Brother Ali Jatoi designed few logos. And after discussing, we finalized one with Labbaik Ya Hussain on that logo and a silver fern.
And the audience can see the flag right now. Yes.
Yeah. So this is how we started our trip, and we formed a proper group and inviting the rest of the community members to join us so we can formally take the group to Ziyarat. And I was fortunate enough to visit in 2018. And I'm also looking forward to go to the same trip again with all our friends and other community members. Yeah, so this was the idea.
Thank you, Brother Sajjad. And can you tell us a little bit like where you guys are standing right now, where some members of your Hussaini Kiwi group, they're holding the flag?
So are you showing any picture?
Yes. So this photo that we see, there is a shrine at the back. Is this the shrine of Imam Ali?
I can't really see the photo.
It's Najaf.
It's on the live stream Facebook.
Photo, yeah. So sure. I can't really see the photo, yeah.
Sure. And Brother Jatoi, as Brother Sajjad mentioned that you designed the logo. So do you have anything to add here? Like what was playing in your mind at the time when you were actually designing this logo?
I would say that I would just add one thing to Brother Sajjad's discussion. What happened was we all were discussing about that we need to go to Karbala for ARBAEEN. And I still remember the words of Brother Sajjad when I went to his home for something, and I was still thinking about it. And he said to me, the next word he said to me was, why don't you book a ticket, book a flight for this trip, and then if our visas doesn't approve, we can cancel it. But the thing is, the minute I booked the ticket, afterwards, the whole journey, like preparation, my leaves, I had no leaves in my account. I was working with a company and I had no leaves in my account when I spoke to them about my holidays on leaves, and they just say that, okay, yes, you can go. So this is true that when you think about ARBAEEN, when you think about visiting Imam Hussain alayhi salam, your all worldly matters are resolved straight away. So the same thing happened on a designing side as well. That when we were discussing about what name we should have, and then ideas were floating in, and then finally we decided on Hussaini Kiwis. So same goes with the logos as well, and then we were thinking what we should depict or what we should represent from New Zealand side, and it's mountains, because when you think about New Zealand, it's mountains, it's beautiful, like a mountains, and at the same time silver fern. So we use the silver fern as a path that we are walking from New Zealand to Shrine of Imam Aba Abdullah, and then we are, because silver fern has got two like petals, one left side and other side. So from there we are like a two-way communication. So that was the main idea behind that. We represent New Zealand side, and then we are going to a shrine. And then we were thinking that if we put a person, what that person should have a flag, and then flag should have a labbaik ya Hussein. So it was like a combined ideas from the group. And every night we used to talk about this, share the ideas, and then I used to open my computer at the same time and do the ideas and reflect back on that. So it was really, really like coming from hearts.
Just want to add one more thing. Brother Ali has mentioned that as soon as we planned this trip, everything went so smoothly that we were really worried that we are not in touch with anyone to book an accommodation in Najaf or Karbala. But eventually we got a connection in Najaf, and we were offered an accommodation. And then one of the brother in Auckland, he offered an accommodation in Karbala. So as soon as we started planning, things went really smoothly. And we were just amazed at how easy the preparation went related to printing, t-shirt printing, flag printing, accommodations, and everything was really sorted within no time.
Yeah. No, thank you so much, Brother Sajjad, and thank you, Brother Jitoi, for adding to the response. And I think what I can get from your answers is that the formation and the birth of Hussaini Kiwis itself, it has been a very spiritual journey itself. In fact, that just reminded me of that last year, because of COVID-19, when we all were deprived from going to the ARBAEEN walk, and that would have been your first year when you guys couldn't continue, your vow to Imam Hussein for doing the walk every year. I remember that a few of you even felt really still near to that Kiwi Hussaini logo and the t-shirt. And I remember you wore it to the ARBAEEN walk that usually we do from Lloyd Elsmore to Hussainiya, because that was a representation of doing the ARBAEEN walk here. So, mashallah, I pray that inshallah Allah keeps the same energy for you all to continue and perform many more ziyarah together. And also, before I move on to the next question, I also just wanted to add, Brother Sajjad, mashallah, it was amazing to hear that you have been to ziyarah of Imam and they all come from the same light. So then ziyarah of Imam Raza you have been blessed with for 15 or more times. This is amazing. And mashallah, the credit goes to your parents. And we of course know that your mother is like also very inspirational, and mashallah, no wonder that you all formed such a nice and spiritual group, and inshallah may you continue the efforts. So now I would like to move this discussion and take it towards Brother Altamash. So Brother Altamash, first of all, thank you for joining us. Mashallah, I know that you are quite passionate about photography, and usually you like to capture any moving scenes. So my question to you is that as a photographer, you must have captured some very meaningful photos while you were walking from Najaf to Karbala. So are you able to describe some of these moments that you witnessed during your walk?
Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. First of all, many thanks to you, Brother Ali, and the rest of the team of Hussainiya for organizing these programs. It really means a lot, and especially for people who have been to ARBAEEN and who have done the Mashi, which is the walk from Najaf to Karbala. It really means a lot for them, and I thank the people who are watching who have been on that Mashi. They would definitely relate to what I'm saying. In terms of yes, regarding the photography during the Mashi, yes, I took I took many photos, and so far in past couple of years, I only managed to finalize just 65 of them. And some of them, if I go back and when I sit on my computer and I try to finalize a few of them, which are really, really very meaningful photos, but I just can't, because it takes me back there, and then yeah, it's very hard sometimes, especially on some of the photos of the host, but they don't want to call them hosts. They call them as servants of the Zaireen, which are the visitors of the Imam. I took a photo of, we were walking, I think it was the first day of our walk. And around, just after Zohar prayer, we did our Zohar prayer and we started our walk again. And we reached a place and some of us were thirsty. So we stopped for a glass of water. And I saw this person who was just sitting on ground, and he was calling the Zaireen, the people who were walking, he was calling them and saying, can you please come and sit on this chair? I will just massage your feet. And that took me away. And I just sat there for about 10 minutes, just photographing this person. And all I could, out of many photos I took of him, I could only process one. And that photo which I processed, he was not looking towards the camera, because that was the only photo I can process. But all other photos which I took of him, he was looking towards the camera, he was looking towards me. And the passion which you see in his eyes was amazing. And if I go back to those photos now, I just keep on looking at them, and I can't really, process them or do much about them, because it just takes me back there. And it's hard that you are not there for past couple of years. Yeah.
Right. No, definitely very heartfelt moments indeed. And I'm sure you have many more photos and many more moments to talk about, but obviously we have got the limitation of time. And inshallah, may Allah bless you to go again and experience many more moments like these, inshallah. So now I want to move on to Brother Abul Hassan. So Abul Hassan bhai, you have grown up in Pakistan, and I'm sure all your life you have been given lessons from your parents to serve Imam Hussain alayhi salam. And one of the ways you have been serving our Imam is by learning to do Noha Khani and recitation of the Musibah of Imam Hussain. And I'm sure you have done this almost all your life in Majalis, in Pakistan, or in New Zealand. But when it comes to reciting this in the land of Karbala in front of Imam Hussain, it must have had a different meaning. So my question to you is that as a reciter of Nohas or Latamiya, what is the difference between reciting it here or reciting it when you were walking towards a Karbala or when you were in the actual Roza or Haram of Imam Hussain?
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, and assalamu alaikum to all the Mu'mineen who is watching, to all audience, and thanks to Islamic Elevate Foundation of New Zealand, and to you, sister, and Brother Ali. Reciting, it's a strange feeling reciting there, because all the time and all our lives we are reciting Nohas when we are at our homes and in our countries. But when we recite, we think about them. We think about Imam Hussain, and we obviously sometimes when we are reciting, just at that time you get sometimes you get so emotional reading those lyrics and those words, and your heart is filled with the grief for Imam Hussain, so that you cannot even recite there. So just imagine being there on that land in front of Imam Hussain, or walking towards his shrine and reciting the Noha or Salam for them. What would be the feeling? So yeah, it's really difficult. But also I would say that it's a completely different feeling what we do here and what we do there, it's a completely different world, spiritual feeling, because you connect to it somehow, and you feel that you are there in front of them and reciting, or giving them a pursa for their sacrifices and for their family. Especially, I remember one of the occasion when I was with Brother Altamash. I think it was last time, 2019, when we were there, and it was early in the morning, and we went there to shrine of Mawla Abul Fazl Abbas alayhi salam. Even though we've been reciting that Noha so many times here, but reciting in front of shrine of Mawla Abul Fazl Abbas, it was so difficult, and it was so it was not an easy task saying those words and those lyrics in front of Mawla Abbas alayhi salam. So a completely different feeling, and it's such a good feeling that I cannot even describe properly. Maybe first time around in 2018, obviously the thing with our group was we all are I think really shy, and I think even when I recite and I look for participation or answers, because we are shy enough that I was not able to recite also. So I had to convince myself to recite in public, because we were not used to that kind of environment, right? So that task was on me. First of all, it was difficult for me to get that courage to recite, and then also for everyone to participate or to reply to the Nohas and to the Matam. So it was a different feeling. But second time around, we had a different group, and mashallah, because I was also I had been there for one time already. So the second time around, it was much better than the first time, and I was able to recite a lot of Nohas, even on the day of ARBAEEN in front of the shrine of Imam Hussain. When we were walking towards the shrine, me and Brother Altamash and Brother Kaisar, we were all there, and we recited a Noha for Imam Hussain. So it was really great feeling reciting on the day of ARBAEEN in front of Imam Hussein's shrine. So it's always a very good feeling.
Yes, of course. No, definitely, I absolutely agree that it is Imam Hussain himself who gives us the courage and to continue on his journey. And it is the ARBAEEN Ziyara, those who have been, I'm sure they will agree that it is something that we just want to keep going back to. So one time is never enough. So inshallah, I pray that may Allah bless you and increase your tawfiqat to keep reciting for Imam Hussain in the majalis here in New Zealand, as well as in other parts of the world, especially at the Holy Land of Karbala. So now I would like to come to our youngest participant, which is Alian. So Alian, mashallah, we, you have been watching the other episodes of ARBAEEN Reflections, and we, alhamdulillah, had a great response from some of the youth about Imam Hussein's impact on their life. I highly definitely recommend those who haven't watched the episode last night, which was called the Youngster's Passion. Please do make sure to take some time out and do witness what, where this generation is exactly leading to in terms of following the steps of Imam Hussain alayhi salam. So Alian, yourself, being a youngster who already has been blessed to go to Ziyara 3 times in just a 15 years span of your life, I would like to ask that you have spent also all your life in New Zealand. So how do you see the experience of Ziyara, especially you have to go through so many challenges as well that you face. So it's not an easy journey. So how do you see the experience of Ziyara has impacted your life, and would you actually recommend your friends to do it one day?
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. First and foremost, I would like to thank the organizers of this event that gave me the opportunity to come out and share my experiences from going to ARBAEEN twice in 2016 and in 2018. The first time when I went to ARBAEEN, it was in 2016. And at that time, many kids, we think of Imam Hussain a bit like a fairy tale or as a story. And I think that it's very important for younger people of my age to go to ARBAEEN or to Karbala in general, because we can bring that to life or bring it to reality. And we can go and we can see the struggles and we can see the sacrifices that were made on the Battle of Karbala, on the day of Ashura. And this really helps us to bring these Hussaini values back home when we come back. And a great example of this is the Iraqi people. Their sacrifice, their selflessness, their generosity, their passion are just a few of the values that I can name that they embody during these days. The importance that they give to the Zair of Imam Hussain, as they call themselves, the servants. And when the Zair are around people like this, they also take in these Hussaini values that they embody, and we bring them home. And as for the challenges, I think we look at Imam Hussain as he persevered through so many challenges that God set for him. And we bring this home and we implement the sacrifice, the selflessness, the kindness, the compassion, and the generosity that we learn from the Imams, and especially Imam Hussain. And we bring that back home and we show that to other people that haven't been to ARBAEEN, and we encourage them to do so as well.
Very well said, Alian. Thank you for your contribution. And I really hope that some of your friends are watching right now and feeling inspired to travel with you to Ziyarat ARBAEEN, inshallah, next year.
Inshallah.
So taking the discussion further, Brother Jadoy, I want to come back to you again. So, when you're walking from Najaf to Karbala, we witness there are many scholars, and there are also Sunni Muslims, non-Muslims, apart from Shia Muslims, who are walking towards Imam Hussain. What are the universal values you think that Imam Hussain, which actually brings all of us together on a common ground? And also, do you see any difference how people are treated, or do you see any conflicts at all when you're walking from Najaf to Karbala?
Thanks, sister. What I will do is I'll actually answer your question in two parts. So the first part you asked me was about the universal values. I'll reply that to you after this question, which was, did I see any difference how people were treated and any conflicts or anything I observed there?
Yes.
I would say not at all. I didn't see any difference in treatment. From the outfits of people, I saw that there were many scholars walking towards Karbala, and even the very famous scholars, which I used to watch on TV and wish to have meet with them. They were just walking like ordinary men, and then there were non-scholars people as well. I saw some people might be wealthy, some people might be poor. And I saw white people, black people belonging to different races. They were walking towards Karbala with intense love of Imam Hussain alayhi salam. So on the way, what I observed was the servants, like khuddams, the people, the hosts, and the servants were treating them like special guests. We were like VIP people for them. We were like one of them, wanted people for them, so they can take care of us. They can serve us in any manner. So what was the main reason they were doing this? They were giving really good treatment regardless of faith of different people or different races. It was because we were the guests of Imam Hussain alayhi salam. So they had the best guest in the world. So I didn't see any difference in treatment at all. And now coming back to your second question, which was you asked for what are the universal values that Imam Hussein brings, which are making us to bring us together. I think from the life of Imam Hussein and the sacrifices of Imam Hussein, we can take so many universal values. But one of the things I have to say is the one which I saw myself in ARBAEEN when I was there. That is the unity among the people. I saw the people were united. I saw in ARBAEEN like Shias, Sunnis, Hindus, Christians. I saw even Jews. And if you look at the countries like Iran, Iranis, Iraqis, Pakistanis, Americans, and so you name it, all the country people were there. But I didn't see any kind of a conflict or any kind of feeling that, oh, you are from this country, I'm from this country. Not at all, not a single word. But they were just walking in one direction, helping each other, leaving all the differences behind and keeping one goal in their mind with a firm belief that we have to reach to Karbala and have to say, Labbaik Ya Hussein. Now, if you look at the whole picture, it's like a true picture of verse of the Holy Quran, which says that, and hold firmly to the rope of Allah altogether and do not become divided. Now, if you look at all races, all people, Hindus, Christians, Sunnis, Shias, all races of people were walking in a one direction, helping each other, not even thinking about, or I should have this, you should not have. No, you have it. I'm here to help you. We have to reach to one place. So if you look at this is like a universal message and unity. This is what Allah wants us to do. So yeah, that's what I observed and I felt about that. Yeah, if people are looking for a rope of Allah, Imam Hussein is the rope of Allah. If you want to see an example, go in ARBAEEN and see that example yourself.
MashaAllah. Thank you so much for enlightening us, Brother Jatoi. And this also reminds me of a famous Urdu quote from Josh Maliabadi, "Insan ko bedar to ho leno do, har kaum pukaregi, hamare hain Hussein," which means in English, let humanity awaken and every tribe will claim that Imam Hussein is their own. So thank you for shedding the light on this very important notion of the universality of Imam Hussein. Now, I would like to direct my next question to Brother Sajjad. So, Brother Sajjad, whenever we plan a trip, especially if it is a trip to Karbala, we know it doesn't come with ease. Of course, you have to leave your family behind, as even you mentioned before as well, that, you know, your little baby girl, she was just like a few months old and you were concerned about like whether you should go or not. And your mother gave you the right direction and she said, do not think of these things and just go. So, and obviously when you actually go on the walk, even then you come across many challenges to do with some of you discussed, like the visa or the tickets, or even the walk itself comes with challenges. Like some may get some sort of blisters or aches or other things. Sometimes the type of place that you get to sleep, it might not be like, you know, that convenient. But we still go on and we still continue our journey towards Aba Abdullah, because we know that we are going back and we are going to bring back a lot more with us. So my question to you is, what was your personal motivation to walk from Najaf to Karbala and how it has impacted in your life today?
MashaAllah, Brother Jatoi has explained this in a beautiful way. I would just like to add a few more things. As we all know that the ARBAEEN is such an astonishing event and it has such a great reward attached to it, that it is really important for everyone to go and experience this walk. The motivation from me is the walk which shows that we are ready to walk on path of Imam Hussein in our lives. And every step we take in this walk towards Karbala, we desire to defeat negative things that exist within ourselves. So then we can reform and prepare ourselves to be part of the army of Imam Akhir Zaman alayhi salam. So while we were preparing for this walk, I think we never thought of any hurdle attached to it, and we were well prepared. Alhamdulillah, Brother Ali Azim, he was guiding us throughout when we were planning our trip. So we were all prepared, and we had our preparations done before the trip. And so as soon as we started our walk, we experienced a lot of amazing things. First of all, the walk is also a message to the entire world that wherever we are, in whichever land we are, we will work hard to serve Imam Hussein's mission of spreading truth and justice. And we will always oppose any oppression. I remember during the walk, I saw a small little kid. He was like 3 years old. And there was a wooden crate. And his father was dragging the wooden crate with a rope. So that was something really astonished me, that this is so much love involved in this walk, that he doesn't have enough money to afford a baby pram, but he is still willing to walk with his baby in that wooden crate. So I mean, this walk leaves a very strong impression. And the values we bring from this walk is, there are a lot of values. One of the values is equality, as we see the pilgrims from all over the world with different social backgrounds walking side by side towards Karbala and showing love to Imam Hussain. Then helping out others is another message. When we see the setup of mock-up and you see them insisting all of the Zaireen so they can serve everyone. So, I mean, there are so many values we can bring during the walk. I mean, it gives a really strong impression. And you always thought of, as soon as you close your eyes, you are always thinking of walking towards Karbala, because when you start your journey from Najaf, you have 3 days at least when you finish your walk. So during those 3 days, you establish so much strong connection that you always wanted to go back. And I'm really willing to go back again as soon as things start getting open here in New Zealand. Then I will prepare my trip as soon as possible. So this is what the connection is, that you always want to go and experience that walk. So yeah, that was all my experience.
Great. Thank you. Mashallah. This is truly inspirational, and I'm sure many of our viewers who have been to the ziyarah of Imam Hussain or any of our imams are agreeing to you right now. So may Allah bless you with more ziyarahs, and inshallah you also get to take your family with you next time as well. So my question is next, I would like to ask is to Brother Altamash. So Brother Altamash, I'm just trying to take my viewers back to the actual walk so we can be virtually experience some of those things that we see on the walk itself. So I remember when I had never been to ARBAEEN, I always heard so much about the poles. Many Zaireen, they refer to this pole when they're calculating the distance of their walk, or some of them, they consider some of these poles as their meeting points, or at other times I would hear, for example, if they want to give an address of a mokib, then they will say, for example, our mokib will be at pole number 1083. So this won't make much sense to me. So it would be good if you can explain to our viewers or those who have never been to ARBAEEN, what are exactly these poles signifying, especially the total number of these poles is 1,452, by the time you reach to Karbala. So what does it actually mean to the Zawar, and what exactly it signifies?
That's a very good question, and I think part of the question you have answered yourself. Like a lot of people use them as landmarks. So people who have been there, who have done the walk, know what I'm talking about, but people who haven't. So there are about so what happens is, normally you start your mashi, your walk from the haram of Imam Ali alayhi salam. You pay your respect, you pay your salams to Imam, your first Imam, and then you pray that the walk, the mashi, goes well for you and your group and other mu'minins who are doing it. And you also pray that you gather all the spiritual rewards which you are there for. So you start from Imam Ali's alayhi salam's haram, and there are about 182 poles which are called the poles of Najaf. So you cross them, which translates roughly to about 9 kilometers. You walk in Najaf, and then you come onto a highway, which is it is called Najaf to Karbala highway. And from there, the pole number 1 starts, which is the pole number 1 for Karbala. And it finishes at pole number 1452, which is the pole which is right next to the haram of Maula Abbas alayhi salam. So when we were planning our trip, and Brother Hassan, who is not here at the moment, and Brother Ali as well, they would say, okay, do this at this pole number, do this at that pole number. And I was wondering, what are these poles? And but we took it like that by the number of the poles. There's so many poles, and then we started as we reached, as we were getting closer to our trip, and we are the information which we were gathering from different sources. So there was a mokib at this pole, then there was another mokib at this pole. Then we were planning, okay, we'll do our night stay at this pole and that pole. So, but until we reached there, I don't know. Maybe the other group members as well, they would have known or not. But when we reached, I said, oh, these are all light poles on the highway. What they have done is very intelligently, they have numbered them. And so that Zairene can use them as their landmarks. And they can also plan their walk accordingly, because every kilometer has got 20 poles in it, which is roughly about 50 meters apart. So then you can easily plan your walk, plan the distance you're going to walk in a day or in an hour, or, in different times of the day, like before Zohar, we will do this much poles. What happens is, we were a small group. There are big groups. So not everyone stays together when you're walking. Some people do, some can't, because of different paces, different, your physical ability and your fitness as well. So there we make those poles as our meeting points. Okay, if we are separated during the day, we will see each other at this pole roughly around this time. So that's during the walk, and you get the address of the mokibs based on the pole number. That's the other thing is, when you start to reach Karbala, when you there is one pole number. I can't let me remember the number. I think it is 1407 or 1410, which is the when you reach that pole, that's where you get the first glimpse of the dome of the shrine of Hazrat Abbas alayhi salam. So that's one of the very, very captivating moment that every Zar look for. And so there are 2 ways you split. If you want, you can do a longer way, or you want to do a shorter way. But that pole number 1407, now I remember it correctly, 1407 is the pole number from where you get the first glimpse of the shrine. And you would see people there. You would see the Zairene just standing there in awe, because now they can see their destination in front of them, just a few 50 odd poles away. And that breaks their heart in the sense that the thing which they were longing for all their life, that moment is right in front of them, just a few poles away, about a kilometer or so away. And I think I should better stop here.
Oh, mashallah, you have explained it really, really well. And I'm sure this was a really good refresher for many of us. And those who are planning to go for ARBAEEN next year, inshallah, you know, they can use this information as well. So, in fact, it's very heartwarming, you know, to hear feedback from a lot of other viewers who have watched the other 2 episodes, and they told me that after watching these programs, they have actually made the niyyah to go for ARBAEEN of Imam Hussain next year, inshallah. And so thank you for that, Altamash Bhai, and inshallah, I hope we can come back to it if you wanted to add anything else to this. But these feelings of emotions, these sentiments, they are very true. And it's something that all the mu'mineen who have been blessed to see those scenes, they have definitely felt this. So, and inshallah, when we come back to you, maybe you want to add those, like, you know, as we are passing the polls, we also see that each poll has a photo of a shaheed. So we keep doing the Fatiha, we keep doing giving the salutations to the shuhada as we pass through.
Yeah, I think I can add that now. Actually, you know, sure. Those polls are light polls, but you know, as many people are aware that that ISIS did what they did in Iraq for so long, and they martyred so many people, and these are those people who laid their lives for this Mashiach, for the Zaireen of Imam Hussain alayhi salam. People like us, you know, or people who want to go there. So those photos you see on those polls are those people who have paid the price by their life so that you can go there. You get the ease of the ziyarah. So, and some polls had the photos of, you would see the photo and say, oh my God, that person was so young. I would say I've seen photos of the people who were not even 15 or 16, and they led their life in this way. So reflection is one thing, that you see those people, you see those photos, you reflect on them, and reflect every step you take between each poll. And the best you can do is do dua for them, do dua for their parents, do their dua for their families who raised such kids, who raised such individuals who were ready to sacrifice their lives for the cause of Imam Hussain alayhi salam.
Absolutely. And we definitely owe to them that we are able to go to the holy shrines and able to walk from Najaf to Karbala in peace. And inshallah, we pray for them, as you said, and also we try to give the thawab of these programs to these souls, inshallah. So now I would like to take the discussion ahead, inshallah. I mean, definitely, like, you know, it feels like that we should like continue this for hours, but we have got the limitation of time. So I would like to further my discussion towards Brother Abul Hassan now. So Abul Hassan, after, you know, the long journey that Brother Altamash was just referring to, you started your footsteps from the doorstep of shrine of Imam Ali alayhi salam, and finally you arrive to the doorsteps of his sons Hazrat Abbas and Imam Hussain. So once you finally arrive Karbala and visit the shrine of Imam Hussain after such a long journey, what were exactly your feelings like?
Yeah, I think my brother Altamash has triggered that feeling that we all have in our hearts. See, first of all, we all are humans, and 3 days of walking, first experience. Maybe some people are hungry, some people need to sleep, some people have blisters in their feet. Everybody just need to stop somewhere and rest for the night. But I think I don't know what the attraction is. As you get closer and closer to Karbala and to near the shrine of Maula Abbas, you sense like, okay, I just want to be there as soon as possible. You start thinking that, okay, forget about how tired I am, forget about what's happening to my feet. I think just carry on and reach Karbala as soon as possible. And that exactly happened when we were like just, I think, around 250 poles away, and we were still thinking that what to do, whether it was already nighttime, and we were thinking whether to stay for the night and carry on in the morning. But all of us felt like, it's so close now. We don't want to stop, and we don't want to sleep. So we just rested for a short amount of time, like 30 minutes, and we continued. And all of us were so energetic. I think Alian was also there with us at that time, and even looking at him also, he was like, we were all thinking, and also you were there with us, and we thought, okay, now no point in staying for the whole night somewhere and just keep thinking about reaching to Karbala next morning. Let's keep going. Obviously, we continued, and as we reached, obviously near in front of Maula Abbas shrine, finally, some people were thinking, oh, what should we do now? We have reached. Let's take a nap, maybe for the night. Let's have a rest, and then we can come back in the morning and say salam to Maula Abul Fazl Abbas. But I think some of us couldn't resist, and we thought, no, I think no rest. Just go to Maula Abul Fazl Abbas Haram first, because as Altamash rightly mentioned, this was the moment that we were all waiting for, and for all thinking about all our lives, and watching in front of us that glory and that beauty and that shrine. It was some other feeling, and we just went inside, and on first night, luckily the crowd was not much, and me and brother Jatoi, who was with me at that time, and we were able to go inside, not only go inside, but reach to the shrine of Maula Abbas and hold it. And we were not able to control our emotions at that time. And literally that feeling is, we can't explain that feeling when you are first time in your life, when you are in front of, Maula Abul Fazl Abbas alayhi salam. So yeah, that feeling was amazing. Yeah.
Thank you. I truly appreciate you all sharing your feelings, and I'm sure many of us resonate with the same feelings, what you have just described. And obviously, a lot of these emotions are felt because we were not able to be at ARBAEEN right now, like many other Zaireen, and because of the restrictions of COVID-19 has, of course, impacted a lot of us. And these numbers of normal Zaireen, which could be normal in normal times, 30 to 40 million, that has definitely decreased. But inshallah, I hope, as the times become better, we are able to once again go there and experience these feelings that you all have been mentioning and talking about. And especially to those who have never been, I'm sure you all would agree to me in recommending to all of them to go as soon as possible, and just do not delay this spiritual experience that one can have in their lives. So thank you, Abul Hussain Bhai. And now I would like to move to Alian again. So I'm really liking the fact that in this episode, we are talking a little bit more about practical tips, just like how Altamash Bhai mentioned about the actual poles, the distance between the poles and what those poles are used for. So just like that, my next question is a bit practical too, that I want to direct towards Alian. So Alian, whenever we plan a trip, to ziyarah of especially Karbala, usually it could be different durations, but most of the time, the most common or average time or package that any caravan offers is 2 weeks, right? So those who have never been, they may wonder how these days are exactly scheduled or how they are planned. Like, where do we go first? Where do we start? Where do we spend most of the time? So if you can just try to describe what is a 2-week schedule of Ziyarah trip is like.
So most of groups that do come into Iraq, they land either at Baghdad or Najaf, as these are the two main international airports. And from there, most people will go to Qadmain for the first day, which that is where our 7th Imam, Imam Musa Qadam, and our 9th Imam, Imam Taqi Jawad, are buried. Usually this is an overnight trip, so that's 2 days. After that, most people go to Samarra, where our 10th Imam, Imam Ali Naqi, our 11th Imam, Imam Hassan al-Askari, are buried. That is also where Imam Hassan al-Askari's house is, where he was house arrested by the king of the time. This is also where Imam Mahdi, our 12th Imam, his mother and his auntie are also buried. Samarra is also the last place where the Imam was seen before his occultation. And both of these places are extremely peaceful. There is just this immense amount of tranquility and just peace that you can just feel as soon as you enter. And both of these, the shrines, they're very beautiful, and it's a very different feeling. And I think all of these shrines, all of the places that you do see in Iraq, each are incredibly beautiful, but each have their own individual feel to it. And usually after Samarra, which is a day trip, you will go to Najaf for 3 to 4 days. This is because Najaf has a lot of things to do. First of all, there's our first Imam, Imam Ali. That is where he's buried. A lot of people also go and see respected scholars there. Last time in 2018, I went and I saw and met Ayatollah Sistani at his residence in Najaf. And the first time that I went to Iraq, I met Ayatollah Bashir Najafi. And it was a very nice experience to meet these two very highly respected Ayatollahs. And apart from that, there's Masjid al-Kufa, which is one of the oldest mosques that was built. There's Masjid al-Sahla, and there's, of course, Wadi al-Salam, which is the biggest and one of the oldest graveyards that there is. Two prophets are also buried there, Prophet Hud and Prophet Saleh. After that, that is usually when you start the walk from Najaf to Karbala. And after you finish the walk, you will come to Karbala. You'll stay there for 4 to 5, maybe 6 days. And that is, of course, where Imam Hussain, Hazrat Abbas, Ali Akbar, Ali Nasser, Khaymagah, and other martyrs such as Habib ibn Madahir and Hazrat Hurra Rihahi, they're also buried there. And this is usually where you stay the longest, because that's where most of the shrines are. And after that, most people go back to Baghdad or they go to Najaf and they will catch their flight home. Yeah, and that's roughly 2 weeks, but it depends on which group you go with.
MashaAllah. Thank you, Alian, for giving that overview. You have provided some great practical tips to our viewers, and I truly appreciate it coming from you. Just one question that I want to extend once again to you. You mentioned that you had the privilege of meeting the Grand Ayatollah Sistani. So if you can just very briefly run us down to what was your experience like meeting such a holy figure and such a highly respectful figure, and what was it like exactly? Like, what was his house like, and what did you exactly experience there?
So we did meet Ayatollah Sistani in Najaf when we were staying there, and his house very simple, very very heavily guarded as well. There's there's heavily armed men inside and around the complex. They make you walk through multiple metal detectors. If your nails are too long, they make you clip your nails as well. It's mainly because of the age of Ayatul Sistani, and they just want to make sure that anybody that is meeting him is, it's the safest for him as well as for us. And meeting him, it was a very good experience. He talked to us, and he lives a very simple life, which is very nice to see. And meeting him was a very nice experience overall.
Very nice. Thank you so much for that, Alian. And may Allah give him long life, and inshallah we keep getting benefit from him and his teachings, inshallah. So now taking our discussion ahead, I would like to once again come towards our respected Brother Jatoi. Brother Jatoi, when we are walking from Najaf to Karbala, one may witness many heartwarming or emotional scenes, and some of them we already have been talking about. And I'm sure we are only trying to put them in mere words because it is really hard to describe what really one experiences when they go through these amazing scenes. So my question to you is, if you can recall maybe one or two memories and share some of your special experience that you had while you were walking from Najaf to Karbala.
Thank you, sister. The walk from Najaf to Karbala was very special experience. Like on every single step, it was like a miracle. As you said, I can't describe that in words, because someone has to go there and witness by themselves. But I would say that when you speak to locals there and you find that the infrastructure is not good because Iraq is not that developed, people are poor there. The whole year they suffer for themselves. But when it comes to ARBAEEN, streets expand itself. People save money for months and months to host the Zawars of Abba Abdullah. They host like 30-40 million people in around 3 to 4 weeks' time. Like food, you see food on the street is free. You're not being charged for any kind of service or food. But it's not just the food. I mean, every Iraqi is trying to serve the Zawars by any means. When you go there, they provide like their homes for a stay. They do because they know that you are walking, you have been walking for days and days, so they do the massage for you. They try to make your body relax so you'll be ready for the walk again. And you are, because walking and your shoes might be dirty, they polish your shoes. So they do every little kind of thing. If they don't have money, they will do the service for you. If they have money to buy the food, they will do that for you. Now that's for like elders. Even I saw little kids, like they're holding tissue papers in their hands.